What's up, guys? It's Dustin with Two Brothers Comics, and I got Nick with me today, and we're going to go over our goals for collecting in 2020.
Hey everybody, let's talk about our 2020 goals. We're going to kind of talk a little bit about some of the books we want to pick up, some of our channel goals, some of the other things we want to do for 2020 in the realm of comic collecting and whatnot. So let's kind of start off with some of the books you want to pick up for 2020, whether they're graded, non-graded, and kind of, you know, what you want to do, what you want to accomplish in that category.
So I would say probably I'll just start off with my banger for the year that I want to pick up. It's a grail of mine, and this year, banger alert. Our Facebook friends will know what that means. So I want to pick up Iron Fist 14. I want to get a really, really nice copy raw. Iron Fist 14.
Yeah.
And that's my big one for the year that I want to pick up. So,
awesome. Yeah, so I actually have two big ones I want to pick up. One I almost bought this month, and I decided against it because it was Christmas. Actually, it's Forever People #1. It's the first full appearance of Darkseid. I believe it's technically its third appearance, but it's his first full appearance, and I believe origin. So Forever People #1, I know right now where I can go get an 8.0 for FMV, and I almost did it. But I'm going to wait and see if I can sell off some other things before I go do that. It's not a real expensive book. It's like $200. And then the other big one I want to get is ASM 300. It doesn't even necessarily have to be a great grade. I just want to complete my black suits, right? So I have ASM 252. I have Secret Wars 8. And then I want to get Marvel Team Up 141.
But you had in
to
your
just
hand.
Kind of complete that. I did have in my hand. And I decided to get the first appearance of the Batman Who Laughs instead because I actually like that character a lot more. Again, collect the way you want to. But man, that would have been a steal of a deal. That copy was high grade, $25 with 20% off.
I might go grab it.
I should have done it. Yeah, it was a great deal. So, all right. So, what are some other books you want to pick up? Not necessarily your big bangers, like Dustin says, but
all right, so
some of the other smaller books.
I want to pick up. And these are also a couple of, I guess you would call them, you know, these would be bangers too. Maybe not for someone like you, who is, a little less educated and a little less.
We're going there.
Yeah. Some lower class, kind of like you wouldn't understand.
Uneducated.
But when they came out with Power Rangers, they did issue zeros. This is actually an issue 0 second print, but they did do all the issue zeros of the Rangers holding their helmets. And there was two that came out that are super hard to find. And when you do find them, they're expensive, but I want to get them. And it is the Red Ranger with the Dragon Shield holding his helmet, and then the White Ranger variant. Both of those are something that I definitely would like to pick up in 2020 as well. And then I would definitely like to pick up the rest of my Mortal Kombat collection. I'm almost there. There's just a few I'm missing. I'm missing Kung Lao. I'm missing Melina and Katana.
Okay.
And the Midway issues.
All right.
So anyone out there that's listening that may have those and wants to help a brother out, you know where we're at.
He'll buy them for an absolute premium.
What's that?
I said he'll buy them for an absolute premium, twice the FMV. Yeah, right. All right, man. So for me, I kind of, the only other book I really know I want is actually Venom #3, the first print, first appearance of Null. I actually have one of the variant, I believe. Yeah, so that's the second printing there. And then I have a ComiKon exclusive one. But I want the raw original Venom #3.
The one that I found last week. And then we both let our brother-in-law buy it. And we're not even sure if he's even really into collecting at this point yet. But we let him buy it. And both of us were kind of going back and forth on, man, I wished I would have bought that. And then I was just like, man, I don't know.
Well,
at least we know where a good high-grade
he just buys
quality
a bunch of random
is,
stuff.
though. There's a high-grade copy in the family. We know where it's at, so...
Yeah, for sure. So it would have been perfect up here on the wall. But, I picked up a couple things at that last trip we did that I was really wanting for next year. Like the first appearance of Batman Who Laughs. I picked up the first Red Hole.
Yeah.
I picked up first X Factor number 6. Why can't I think of it? The first appearance of Apocalypse. I'm sitting here staring at it up on the shelf here, and I cannot for the life of me say it. And then the Killing Jokes that I wanted in 9/8. So I did a lot of stuff this year that kind of on my goals list just for collecting in general. A couple of Wolverine books I really wanted. So for me, I'm kind of going into 2020 kind of light on the goals for pickups because I've kind of gotten a lot of things. I know you have too. So I'm kind of stepping back and going, okay, what do I want? And I know I want Venom number 3. I know I want to do the rest of the Black Spider-Man suits. And then the only other ones I want to do are Batman Death in the Family. I want to finish that run. Mm-hmm. I bought that one from Reggie Collects. And then I have 428 on the wall here. So that's from Reggie Collects. I have 427. And I just need the other 2 to kind of complete that run. And they're not hard books to find. Right. You can pick them up all day for, less than $20. But
well, I mean, what about? I know you've been taking a lot more interest in the Todd McFarlane covers. Do you think that would be something you would look to pursue? Is looking to get, start a collection of just Todd McFarlane covers, or start a collect a run of covers that he did.
So 2 things on that. One, I was looking at his first artwork he had ever done, and I forget the book. I have it saved on my watch for eBay. I was looking at that, but it skyrocketed a lot more than I wanted to pay for it. So that may be something I want to grab. But then 2, and you and I think both kind of have agreed on this, Spawn is something we really wanted to get into. So I've got several copies of Spawn number 1 right there, but I have a bunch in the closet where I keep my books. And I've never actually read a Spawn book. And you and I watched the Spawn animated series while we were up here doing some videos, and I was editing. Mm-hmm. It was a pretty crazy series, so I actually read Spawn number 1. Man, it's a really good book, and I hate I've missed out on it. So one of my goals, I was going to talk about it a little bit later, was to pick up an omnibus. But I wasn't sure what omnibus to pick up, just because, everybody's kind of into them. You picked up your first couple. I'm like, I'll give it a shot, see if I really like it. I think maybe a Spawn omnibus may be a good one to start with. I know Spawn number 1's outrageous. Yeah. Maybe I don't do an omnibus. Maybe I just do a couple of collective issues. Yeah. But I'm thinking maybe...
They do have some outside of those absolute editions that are, where volume 1 is just up there. I know they do have some other hardcover volumes that are easier to get your hands on. Yeah. Because that was actually on my list too. I wanted to read, the first, 3 or 4 volumes of Spawn through the 90s. Yeah. But, that number 1 absolute is, and I would still love to have it. I mean, if I could get it for the right price, I would pay, the money for it. But yeah, I could definitely agree with you on that. And, I had some other omnibus actually, just finished Planet Hulk, first omnibus I ever bought, and it was actually my goals for 2020, because I actually started writing my goals down a couple of weeks ago. When I first started collecting, that was one of the first things that I, consistently saw on people recommending, this and this to new collectors, was write down goals for collecting. And it makes a lot of sense, because it gives you something to drive towards and something to keep you on track. Because if you don't have something keeping you on track, we both know, it's easy to veer off this way and this way, and you got 300 books that you don't care anything about, but then you didn't get anything you actually wanted. But I had Planet Hulk.
Yeah, and like I said, especially for you, you're so impulsive. Right. That you'll just go out and buy anything and everything that, and I'm not knocking you. I just know how you are, and you know that about yourself. So I think for you, goals are huge. Whereas me, I've never been that way. I've never been somebody to write stuff down. I kind of just go with the flow. Yeah. But before I ever do anything, and in that moment, I plan it through. I think it through, right? So for me, when we were talking about doing this video, it was kind of hard for me to sit down and go, okay, what do I really want to do? What are some of my goals? And I think now that I have them, and I've written it down, I think it's honestly a great idea, because now I'm kind of, okay, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to go after it. So I think it kind of opened my eyes up a little bit to the importance of this, right? So,
you know, and like I said, you know, back to you know, I already got one of my 2020 goals. I grabbed it before 2020 started and read the whole thing, and it lit a fire for, you know, my omnibus goals for 2020. You know, I want to pick up Injustice. I want to pick up what else was it that I was wanting to pick up? The
Batman.
And the Scott Snyder Batman. Those are the two that I really want to pick up and read. And then if I get both of those and get them read, then I'm going to go at World War Hulk omnibus and read that one. But you know, it's awesome to be able to.
I tell you what, I was interested
and just read from start to finish in one book. I mean, it's awesome. I love individual issues. But
well, it's funny. Yeah.
Go ahead. Sorry.
Well, and it's funny you say that, because no, you're good. I know it's kind of hard to sometimes pick up on each other. So it's funny you say that, like, you know, sit down from start to finish and read, because I have an entire short box, and I'll just pick up the lid, literally almost full of things I need to read. And some of these are entire runs, and that's sometimes the best way of doing things. Or not, I won't say the best way, sometimes the best experience, right? Because you kind of get the whole story from start to finish. There's no month in between. Like Hawks and Pox, I think the way they did it weekly, that kept me interested. That's what kept the story alive. Versus Absolute Carnage, we've talked about this before, it was kind of slow, and you really didn't end up with a whole lot out of it, right? So, but as far as omnibus go, now, you know, there were Star Wars 1, 2, and 3 omnibus collected issue or volumes that I was that close to getting all 3 of them, because
and you should have, because they were half
so
off.
That was something I think. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, 50% off. But my thought process was that I wanted some other things. Not many people do the Star Wars thing. I know I can probably go out and find them somewhere for a decent price. So,
all right. Well, let's talk about this.
All right. So
we've been sending in books to CGC. You know, I have. We've talked about this. So let's get out some of the books that we want to send to CGC this year. What are the goals we have for our CGC send-offs this year?
All right. So for me, I keep a lot of the books up on the wall here that I either want to get graded or maybe not necessarily worth grading, but I like the way they look. But there are several books up here I do want to send off, like the Joker book back here, the retailer exclusive. Now, I also have a book over here that's brand new, picked up last weekend, Folklord's #1 first print. It's a retailer exclusive, okay? Not exclusive, it's a one per store retailer. Dustin had this in his hands when he was flipping through, looked at it, put it back on the shelf. I come up behind him and said, "Hey, man, what was that?" He showed it to me. He put it back on the shelf again. Said, "Oh, I think I'm going to grab that." Picked it up. Super cheap. And if you look at what they're going for online, I got a real good deal for it. So I'm going to send that off this year. And then some of the Wolverine books I have. So like Wolverine #1, I got that in high grade. And Silver Surfer Black down here, #1. It's a retailer exclusive. Gorgeous cover art. And then I was going to do my Kanto #1 and send it off, but I noticed there's a spine tick on it. Color breaking. To me, it's not worth it at that point. And then I have a couple of smaller books that I'd like to go send off, like Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur. High grade, I bought it in a $1 bin. And honestly, that's just a resale.
Same here. So I got that one.
What about you? What are some things you want to do?
That I'm on my list to send just for resale purposes. Got it out of the $1 bin.
Yeah. But, you know, and again, it's something I normally don't do. I don't do a lot of resale, but if it helps me get closer to one of my goals, and maybe I trade it off, to something else. So there are a lot of people out there that, really, really like that story, especially with the series coming out.
Right.
My little girl's older. I might keep it, but by the time she's old enough to understand, it's going to be irrelevant.
So for me, sent off my first Mortal Kombat, came back in 9.8. That was awesome. And I know you think I'm crazy, but I'm telling you, I'm sending every issue I have of Mortal Kombat off. I've got almost 3 full runs. I have almost 3 of every issue, so I'm going to send them off until I get as many 9.8s as I can, and either get all 9.8s or I run out of books to send in. And that's probably going to extend into 2021 and 2022, but I do hope to send at least 5 more off this year out of my Mortal Kombat series and get 9/8 out of those. I want to send off, well, not necessarily send off, but we've got the Huntsville Pop Culture and Comic Expo coming in April, April 18th and 19th.
Yeah.
And
I believe so.
Yeah. Okay. And my man Jason David Frank is going to be there. So I've got some books right now that are being pressed. So I can take those.
He don't even like
CGC is going to be there. So I've got some books that I definitely want to get signed. And I'm going to have that yellow label on there. Really hoping for 9/8. I've got them being pressed right now. One is going to be that Shredder holding the White Ranger variant. And the other is going to be the first appearance of Lord Draken, the second print. And I think I might actually take that one that I bought today, that Todd McFarlane homage from Spider-Man 1, and have that one done as well. So those are my grading goals for 2020, absolutely.
Yeah, and for me, I mean, I'm kind of odd about what I want to send off. You have a real purpose. For me, I just want to send off what I like. You know what I mean? You know, you really have a goal. I mean, the only real goal I had last grading was to get a 9/8 Killing Joke. I got 2 of them. I was so excited about it. I came down off the high. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna trade one off to you. I'm gonna keep the one I have. I bought it raw. That's special to me. But the rest of these, you know, if they come back, you know, 9/0 plus, which I know they will, you know, that's fine, right? I just want them slabbed. I think I like the way they look on the wall better. And, you know, I mean, look at my slab collection. It's not really... I got Bone 13 sitting up there signed by Jeff Smith.
Yeah, I mean, you've got
I kind of just do whatever.
Right, you've got a Mod Podge of all kind of different things. And, you know, really I do too. I mean, I've got... You know, I've got everything on my display from wrestling to Ninja Turtles to Power Rangers to X-Men to What If. I mean, you know. So I'm the same way, whatever.
I think for you, man, some of your... Yeah, and I think for you, you know, let's get those books slabbed and let's get them graded. Let's create you a different display back there. You know, I think, you know, that'll look real good up there. I think you got a lot of high quality books that'll look real nice and some slabs. But so all right, so let's move on to the next topic. All right, so we've talked about some of the raw books we want to pick up. We've talked about some of the graded books. Let's talk about non-comic book buying goals for 2020, whether it's, you know, something you want to start doing within the hobby, or maybe some statues or some other collectibles within the world of comic books that you want to pick up this year. So you go ahead and go first.
I think one of the goals that I have, and this is a different one. I want to actually reduce what I have. I've bought so many books based on, I like that cover. I like that cover. That book might be worth something. That book might be worth something. I want to reduce my collection down to the books that I care about. That's one of my main goals. And the books that, you know, and it's not to say that the books I want to get rid of are you know, garbage, but it's just not something I personally care about enough that I want it to continue taking up space in my collection. So I want to get rid of those and hopefully use those funds to put into something that, you know, going to get my books graded that I do care about or whatever. So that's one thing that I have. I want to reduce my collection and weed out some of the stuff that just isn't as important to me.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think that's a really good goal. And you and I have talked about that quite a bit. I mean, how many times did we just start buying stuff? I mean, in my closet over here, I ripped it out. I put up shelving. I have all my short boxes, and it's about full. And there's only so much my wife's going to allow me to put in the house. So definitely thinning out, you know, to make room for the new stuff. Great idea. Now, something for me, what I want to do is I want to start pressing my own books this year. And this is something I wanted to be able to do in 2019. I just spent my money on everything else. So I'm going to get me a press. I'm going to start working through pressing my own books. I think I have a lot of books up here on the wall that aren't worth sending off. But for me to press them, they present a little bit better. That means the world to me, right? And that's what this is about. Do what makes you happy. So for me, by the end of 2020, I'm going to have a press set up, and I'm going to teach myself how to press comic books. It's not that difficult. It's just a lot of, trial and error and getting the right equipment. So that's one of the things I'm going to do in 2020. Anything else kind of non-comic book?
First off, I hope you do get that worked out, and I'll
related. You want to talk about?
Yeah, and I hope you get the pressing down. And I wish you would hurry up, because I've got a lot of books I need pressed, and your brother can't spend all his money.
I didn't say it's free for you.
My guy's cheap, but he's not that cheap, so I need you to hurry up and get that going so I can send my books off. But
yeah, right.
No, I do have a couple of other outside of actually buying physical comic books. So I would like to also try to grab a couple of smaller scale statues. We both have talked about how much we really like the look of these statues, but they're not in the price range for us right now. But some of these smaller ones that I've seen, I would really like to pick up. Mainly, GameStop has a Green Ranger and a White Ranger exclusive statues. They're like $50 a piece, but artwork and the paint, everything looks really, really nice on those, and they present well with my books and stuff. And like you said, I am looking to create a whole new display this year. We're looking to move and get into a new house, and that's going to bring a whole new display. So I'm hoping Power Rangers, Mortal Kombat, and Marvel, DC stuff in the middle somewhere. But I want to build a huge Power Rangers and a huge Mortal Kombat display with some of those smaller end statues and even figures that are coming out. Because, McFarlane's doing a whole run of the Mortal Kombat figures. They're going to keep releasing them all through the year.
Yeah. Well, I tell you, one of my goals, and I have it written down here, I'm going full Jim Mint. I'm going to get me one of those big statues. I just don't know what yet. So anybody out there, you want to buy a full run of Eternals, anything else you see on my wall, it's for sale. I'm going to get me a statue.
That's going to make me so jealous.
I'm going to get a big one. I have no clue where I'm going to put it because I just don't have the room. I don't care if I have to put it right here in the middle of the desk in front of the Mac here. I'm going to have it, okay? So that's kind of what I want to do for 2020 in that realm. But
I want that Planet Hulk one so bad. That's the one for me.
Well, you get the Planet Hulk one. I'll get the Silver Surfer, the Savage Silver,
and
Silver
that's going to be
Surfer
awesome.
One.
That would be awesome.
Yeah. So that's the plan, right? But I gotta get some things sold first, right? So what else?
Okay, that right there.
I'm gonna start books.
That right there. That's something that what you just said is something I kind of like to make a goal for myself, and you were gonna understand my reasoning more than I would want to let on to everybody. But this whole concept and mindset that I have, that if I want this, I got to go sell all this. I want to be able to. I want this cake, and I want to eat it too. That's how I want to be able to collect this year. I want to be able to budget well enough that I don't have to sell a bunch of stuff to pick up a bunch of other stuff. Because to me, how do you build your collection if you're just constantly selling this thing that you love to pick up this new thing that you love?
Yeah.
And you know how I am. I'll sell this green Power Ranger figure right here for this bottle of water today. And in 3 months, guess what? I'm going to get this green Power Ranger figure, but I'm going to pay for it twice now. So, and I know what you were saying about, selling some of your books, but, those are books that you're willing to part with anyway. But, I'd like to be able to say that I'm going to be able to budget better in 2020 so that I don't have to spend so much time getting rid of this so that I can go and get this, because that really starts to tear on me sometimes. And I've been doing it forever with, even not with comic books, but it's just, I hate trying to decide what I'm willing to let go so I can get this thing I really, really want.
Yeah. I hear you. Absolutely, I hear you, man. Great stuff there. All right, so anything else at all? We've kind of went over some of the books we want to pick up. We've talked about some of the books we want to send off to get graded. We've talked about some of the non-physical comic book purchases we want to do.
Let's talk about goals.
What about
for
some,
our
maybe some channel goals?
What goals we have for this channel for Two Brothers Comics?
Yep.
We've just barely gotten started at the end of 2019.
Yeah.
And we've taken off pretty well. I think that we've had a good amount of people that are commenting and sharing our content. We've collected almost 100 followers in almost a month and a half, 2 months.
It's not even, it's barely been a month.
I mean, I think we're doing pretty good there. But let's go one for one, back and forth. What's a goal that you have for this channel this year?
So I wanted to hit 1,500 subscribers, 1,500 by the end of December 2020. Okay, I think right now we're averaging. We averaged our first month at 100 subscribers. You figure we have 12 months next year. That's another 1,200. But I think we're going to bump those averages up. But I would like to see somewhere between 1,500 to 2,000 subscribers next year. As my kid gets older, it becomes a little bit easier. We kind of started this at a weird time where I just had a kid. Christmas time's coming around, but by God, we're doing it, and it's going well, in my opinion. And at the end of the day, we have fun. So that's what it's about. But if you want a goal, I want 1,500 to 2,000 subscribers next year.
All right. I had a much lower number for that goal, but if that's what you think, I'm with you, because I know you're a numbers guy way more than me. So that sounds great to me. I think my goal for us would be, I'd like us to do from January 1st to December 31st, at least 150 videos of new content.
Yeah. So that's 10, about 11, 12 a month, give or take.
I mean, it's So, and I think that's doable, like you said.
Yeah.
As
right now we're putting out
and
2 or 3 weeks.
As Ellie gets older, you're gonna have a little more free time and ability to do that. And it's 150 videos. If you think about it, I mean, we've recorded. Sometimes we'll record 2, 3, 4 a week, and that's all it really is. If we record 3 or 4 videos a week every week consistently, then we're going to hit that goal. So I know there's a lot of people out there that are putting out a whole lot more than that. But I just, I think with our situation, living in different states, and both those having full-time jobs, kids, wives, dogs, cats. So 150, I think that would be awesome.
Yeah, no, I think that's completely doable. Okay, so in the next thing, and I've already started on this, really diving deep into the realm of the editing and things like that. So, we spend a lot of money on some of that stuff, and I think it's only going to get better. So improving the editing quality, things like that, and just general production value as a whole, right? And I think that's something that if you look from our first video to the video now, you can clearly see a trend upwards, and it's only going to get better. So I think that's, personal goal, because I do a lot of that stuff, just constantly improving every video.
Yep, absolutely. And it has. I mean, that's one thing I'll say is you definitely have stepped the game up on the editing. You can definitely tell. So,
okay.
All right. So I would say, I would like for us to be able to branch out into the community, and we've already had a couple of people that have invited us onto their shows. Our January is looking great already. I mean, we're going to be going on to Just a Rican and His Comics channel. We're going to be bringing in Brian Silverback. Has agreed to come in and talk to us about his new Loggerhead project that's coming out. So I would like to continue to do that, get more involved with other channels in the community. I've been talking to one of our subscribers. He's got a bigger following than us, as it stands now, but he's like me. He's in the Power Rangers, and I've reached out to him, so I'm hoping me and him can kind of do a Mighty Morphin blowout video, but
Collab.
That's something I'd like to see us get into is having more interaction with other people in the community. That would be something cool.
Well, I think something that would be really neat to do is like Brian Silverbacks, and then I met the
Over the
writer
Ropes.
for
Love that book.
Over the Ropes. Yep. So I met him. You love it. I didn't read it. Just wrestling isn't really my thing. That's a conversation for another time. But getting some of those writers and some of those artists, and I think would be really cool to be a part of. And I think another thing we're gonna try to work on is maybe spending some time at the local comic shop, talking with some of the talking with the owner there. So those are some of the videos and kind of some of the content we're going to be bringing that we're kind of working on the back end. So great idea.
I think,
for sure.
and we talked about continuing to do more ride along videos. I think we talked about that today. So that's probably something we're going to do is at least monthly, maybe a monthly ride along video. So just continuing to add more content and different content instead of just we're trying to be different and not do not just be the channel that does the weekly pull list and the weekly reviews. We haven't really done much of that because there's so much of that out there, and there's so many other people that take honestly, I just think they do a better job than I think we would anyway. So that content's there, but we're trying to bring something new and fresh. So I think that's something I would like to continue doing is bringing out new content that isn't really being put out there.
Absolutely.
And honestly,
absolutely, man.
Like I said earlier, we're looking to move, so I really would like to redo my display and just have something just knock your socks off, like and that's something channel related, because I look at I like what your display looks like better than mine. I feel like mine's kind of dark and but I want to definitely up my display. That would be something I want to we need to get some better lighting in here. So we've definitely got some goals for the channel. So and you can't get better and make it better without those goals to reach after. So there's always got to be a brass ring.
Yep.
So
I'm going for the gold.
That's it. But all right, man. Well, I think I've covered all my all the goals that I have for 2020, and I think I was able to drag a few out of you. You didn't, like you said, you haven't ever been one, as just far as like setting goals and go. I've seen you do it, but you're more of a in the moment, go after it or don't, and figure it out right then kind of person. So, but
100%. That's
we both got some goals for 2020, and hopefully we'll be sitting here and same time next year talking about which ones we reached and which ones are going to carry on into the next year, and hopefully we'll be doing that with a lot more subscribers and an even better channel than we've got now. So that'd be awesome.
Absolutely.
But, all right, guys. Well, if you like the content, let us know in the comment section, and if you want to share some of your goals for 2020, make sure you do that too. We love reading the comments. We try to get back to everybody on those, so always feel free to leave us a comment. Make sure you please hit the like button, subscribe, and if you hit that little bell next to subscribe, it'll let you know every time new content comes up from us. So you guys doing that really helps us out in reaching our 2020 goals. So like I said, one more time, comment, like, subscribe, share it out, and as always, collect your way. Hi, boys and girls. It's Dustin with 2020 goals for our collection. What's going on, guys? This is Dustin and Nick with Two Brothers Comics. We're going to be going over the goals for 2020, you hear? You see? Yeah? Sun's out, guns out. Pow!